Technology only gives us possibilities, but not concrete predictions and outcomes, because there's no way to predict the future.
There's no way to predict the future. Exactly. That's a good example, right? Because specifically what we're dealing with is human action, not can you predict when Hale-Bopp is going to return, right?
Like, so we're talking about how do you have a good sense of the pulse of the culture and the nation and the attitudes and whatever, and like, do you think you know what's going to happen here? And, you know, political pundits are the ones who either think they know or want to influence what will happen, because they know that at least talking about it will influence people's minds.
So they offer their opinion as a technology, so to speak?
Well, it's information, it's data, you know.
And aggregation and dissemination.
Yeah, but then if you're even smarter than that, and you can hear what they're saying and see through the 5-dimensional chess they're playing and understand that they're not just saying what they mean, but what they want you to hear. Or what they're meaning,
they're beholden to,
or what they're meaning to say versus what they believe they're saying, you know, and all these things. Once you start to see what's really going on and who's playing double or triple games and who's actually involved in those games, and then who the pawns are, like once you can see the whole board, then yes, you start to play like high risk gambling where you're like, I think I know where it's going every day.
Right.
You know?
You think Trump is really good at this?
I don't think Trump predicts the future. I think Trump plays the moment.
Okay.
I think Trump actually...
So you don't necessarily think he knows all the intricacies?
I think what makes Trump the most powerful man right now is that he plays the present moment. He actually, in a lot of ways, is not worried about the future. He's worried about right now, today. Like I think he plays 24 hours by 24 hours with some sense of like goals, major goals, like I want to make America great again or whatever. But I don't think he's really concerned that what he says today he won't be able to defend tomorrow. I think he's just like, what the hell's happening right now at noon? And I have to speak to that.
That makes a lot of sense.
Because the consciousness is on here now.
And that makes a lot of sense because he does seem to sometimes fumble. And
but he doesn't care.
And then it goes, you know,
it goes
and then
away.
we forget about it and move on to the next thing.
Because he also doesn't dwell on the past.
Right.
He literally moves on, and when everyone picks up, if anyone tries to bring up the past with him, it just slides off like like water off a wax or something. Like there's just no past for Trump.
Right.
There's no like what he said yesterday. It's always what he said today, which means he's always saying something new and relevant. And people they get attached to his every present statement. Mm-hmm. They forget he said, you know, those Mexicans, bad hombres. Like, no one even remembers bad hombres anymore. You know what I mean? Because everybody understands the context of what he was saying.
That's hilarious.
But his every utterance is so original that people are like, now this is the new thing I hate him saying, and this is the new thing I hate him saying, and now he said this, and it's like, you hate everything he says, and yet you don't know where it's coming from. And the reason you can't predict it is because it's actually original. Like, no one can predict him. Even his supporters. His supporters are like, oh, he loves Mattis. He hired him. And then he's like, Mattis is like the most overrated idiot general that anyone's ever... And you're like, oh, shit. You know? So that what's cool about Trump is like, he
keeps you on your toes. But some people love that and some people hate that.
Well, that's why we're split down the middle 50-50. And we're about to see what's going to happen. And everybody thinks they have the technology to see into the next, 6 months.
Yeah.
And we're in peak present consciousness where I think people are going to be really awake.
Yeah.
And then once something happens, then they'll go back to sleep.